All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Again, it's Roden for Eve Station Trading episode 31 now. Wow. Hang up there. Hey, what's up, Cap? Good to see you again. Or usuals. Yeah, that's something to talk about today for sure. Man, it's been a great market week. And especially since I've got more situated in nullsec, I definitely got a few things planned. hopefully, especially it's just really good timing because from a game population standpoint, we should be picking up pretty soon around wintertime. As with most games, for the most part, or MMO specifically, people stay inside, play more games, things like that. All right, but let's go ahead and get started with our usual pattern here. Oh snap, Corell's here. Shit. All right, we'll go ahead and review our. Oh, you watching from work? What? Man, I wish I could get away with watching Twitch at work. Shit, that's nuts, man. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our review of last week's calls. Um, Looking at it now, I think they're gonna be good calls. All right, so we're gonna start off with our on the buys from last week. I know, right, Cash? So lucky. All right, we called out a buy for Caldari Navy Wardens. It's still technically a buy. Looking at the chart, like this last bit right here, people are just dumping it on sells. Why are they dumping it on sells? Whoa, what happened here? They dumped it on sell so hard it went down to 1.1. I can't remember what. Let me see. Look at my history real quick on this. I had sold this for 2.6. I held on to it for a good while. The buys actually don't even register anymore. Wow. I sold this for 2.6. It's now up to 2.9. And there's half a page on buy orders. What's the story here? Look at the chart again. The thing with these is the charts, more often than not, will actually give you the story. You just gotta understand how it tells it. So we see big outliers on the Dodge chain right here. So the Dodge chain includes all completed trades within the period. So through this short period, you see some really outlier buys. But they're not average because they're not the median, because the median would be marked by the orange dots. They're basically compared to the Navy Guard. Sure, one sec. The Navy Guard's a little bit more. That's crazy outliers again, though. The Navy Guards are a lot healthier. A lot healthier. Not much for straight margins, but a lot healthier on the chart and on the number of orders straight up. But I'm guessing why would there be lack of buy orders? So there will be lack of buy orders because it's getting met. But it's getting met at a pace that's faster than the new buy orders getting placed. That's pretty crazy. People are, hold on. Bastards. That's what it is. People are dumping their LP. Dumping the LP. How would they dump their LP just at tier 2? That's crazy. People are cashing out. They need money. Sniper fits out of fashion. You know what? They're cashing out LP. Hard. And they're using Navy Wardens as the platform for it. Why Navy Wardens? Navy Wardens because it historically has been the top, easily top 5 on Fuzzy's tool for LP conversions. Easily. People are why are they cashing out? So they're cashing out for war assets. They're cashing out for refineries, maybe. I don't know. But it looks like people are cashing out. This is one of the easier ways to cash out your LP is actually using sentries, cruisers, and to a certain extent, if you actually have a usable faction module. So there you go. At least that's my hypothesis. So folks are cashing out using Caldari Navy Wardens. It's not odd. It's totally acceptable. All right, next one we call for a buy is Plex. Plex had a really. I really thought it would have a better reaction to the eVegas news of the alphas. Maybe I'm thinking too deep into it. Let's look at Plex real quick. I still have my batch of 4,227 units of Plex, which I bought at most of them just shy of 3 million, like 2.9 something. Yeah, boy. Oh, it's picking up steam, boy. It's picking up steam. Where can I cash out? How can I cash out? Can I reasonably cash out at 3.3? I think I can. I think I can at least hit 3.3 come December, January. Yeah, man. I totally. Dude, this is gonna pick up like right after Lifeblood hits. There's no reason for it to stay down like this. No reason. I'm really glad I bought this at 3. I'm gonna cash out hard too. Like all at once. Alright, so as you can see, because we called it at a buy, we called it at a buy from last week. It was about to cross it. Was it smart to call it as a buy from last week? I think last week at the time of presentation, it was still sitting at close to flat 3. Yeah. Caps, right? Oh, not what I want to hear for Christmas. I don't know, man, because I really doubt that there isn't going to be an increased genuine demand for Plex after Lifeblood. I have a hard time believing that, especially with the. And I think this is a good place to actually segue into the changes that are coming. So alphas are gonna basically see a huge buff in their scope. They're gonna go from just shy of just under 5 million SP to a bit over 20 million. They're gonna throw away the faction lock, and they're gonna give them Tech 2 medium and small weapons, and access to Tech 1 battleships. However, Cap says, why they just gave the keys to BS's alphas? Why buy Plex? I have a hypothesis now. I'm still developing it, but I think this is the plan in the future at least. So with that, if I'm a genuine new player in the game and I'm like, oh man, I really want to be part of these large battles that's happening in Eve, what's the best thing to get in? What's the best way for me to get into? And I'm gonna open my real life wallet to this. Be an alpha, play and skill inject yourself to Macarials. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you skill inject yourself into Macarials? Be no reason not to. Especially if you get enticed into that kind of gameplay style and you totally buy into it. I think folks will buy into it, to be absolutely honest with you. I think it's not outside the realm of possibility to see. I have to see where you're going, but they won't tell us how many alphas are alts. That's very, very true. I was disappointed. Actually, I'm not disappointed. I don't think it's in the best interest of CCP to actually reveal. I don't even know if they can actually like be able to or to know which ones are genuine new players and which ones are alts. I think there's going to be a large enough margin of error for that. But I think that most of the alpha accounts are just alt accounts. Now, I'm more curious to find out how many people transition not from alphas to omegas, but actually from omegas to alphas. Because I'll be honest with you guys, if I didn't already have all my tunes in one account, I would actually maintain my combat characters as alphas. Why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't I? I think it's totally within the limit of the SP for alphas to be usable as a combat account, as a combat character rather. Cav says, I feel Min's hands around her throats again. Guess Gigex felt the same. I don't know, man. Like I personally, I mean, this is probably an unpopular position, but I don't agree with the alpha change. Morning says I'm an alpha and have a lot of other alpha accounts. Yeah, exactly, man. Like from I don't agree with the alpha change because it doesn't make me feel good that as a player we're moving away from a subscription model to a like actual no joke microtransaction model, because I feel like this is CCP's way out of developing Eve. This is going to be their way into developing other projects, and they're probably going to be leaving Eve alone for once they find a good product. Cap's just like, I booted out of 3 Discords for saying it such. I got you, Cap. I'll say it. This fucking dude. I'm not a fan of the new alpha. I am not a fan of the new of the alpha changes. Not a fan at all. I think it stinks. Stinks. Because yeah, I mean, it feels like CCP's finding a way out of managing Eve in the long run. I'm not talking short term. I'm talking about long run. Going VR and Spark, yeah, they're finding a way out of Eve. It's an old IP, man. It's old. And you know, it is what it is. I mean, I don't agree with. I'm too old, I guess. I just don't agree with new players coming into this game and basically buying their way into gameplay that other players have honestly taken like years to develop, man. And call that, you can call that old way of thinking or whatever, but yeah, that's just how I feel about it. Like, I'm sorry, but your opinion is actually not going to change mine. Thinking about going all alpha. To be honest with you, the only reason I'm not even going alpha is because of my trader. The only reason I'm not going alpha, because I actually need these trade skills. I need them. I need them to be competitive. It's funny that I actually need trading skills more competitively than I do PvP skills. That's very telling. That's incredibly telling, though, isn't it? Maybe I should move to Albion. Dude, I like Albion because I do the indie thing in Albion as well. It's more pick up and play, for sure. If you're into pick up and play type of PvP combat, I think it can be your bag. Yeah. All right, so that's my story on Plex. I think having bought it at 3, we called it guys. We called Plex as a buy at 3 million for like 2-3 weeks. So hopefully someone out there made is taking advantage of it. I really hope so. All right, and we called out P4s as buys. This might be interesting. P4s might be interesting. I don't think that price action could have sustained itself. Not on P4s. I've seen P4s move like that before. It's usually pretty short-lived, but yeah, I might get surprised here. Okay, so P4s advanced planet materials. Yep, it's reversing. Just on time. Good call. Good call. Good call. Good call. Good call. Ooh, I wish I would have taken advantages. I couldn't, man. I was not liquid at all, man. I was not liquid at all. That's a shame. Oh, fuck. It's reversing. Almost every single one of them is reversing. That was historic 90-day bottom too. Shit. That's big. That's gonna be woo! From 2.75 to touching 3.25 on self-harmonizing power core. That's really odd too. That's really odd. This is usually one of the cheaper ones. Man, could you imagine if you made that play on this? Wow. Sarah Conduit, not so much, but almost everything else reversed. That's a good call, man. Hopefully someone got it. Wetware. Oh, he's so dirty. It didn't pick up. It's going sideways. That's so dirty. Why did it do that? Why did it do that? It's undecisive. I was like, dude, that P4 call, huge. I hope someone took advantage. I myself couldn't actually take advantage of it. I was not liquid at all at the time. And I was moving into nulls like I needed cash. Alright, so good call on P4s. Good call. Alright, for cells, we called small skill injector. It's the first time we called small skill injector. Outside of like really outlier type behavior. As a cell? Yeah, it's still a cell. It's still a cell. It had a really quick correction too. Very tight correction, but it picked right back up. But the general trend on based on the 20-day moving average is still it's still upward. It's still an upward trend. Yeah. Good call. Good call. I was like, I had 4 million to spare, goddamn. Bro, dude, I couldn't. I wish I could take advantage myself. I couldn't, man. I was just moving into Nullsec, which I would love to talk about here a little bit. And I needed cash, I needed gear, I needed chips, man. Fuck. But someone could have easily turned a few, like, double-digit billions. Because P4, you can easily spend double-digit billions. Easily. Across that whole classification, yeah. All right, next one we called is Proteus. That's a really oddball call. I think it was more of a very natural price movement. It was still a sell. It's still a sell. Wow. Why is it holding up at that price? People are just buying it. Straight up buying it. 114 to 125. 9% difference is actually not bad for T3. It's not bad. It looks like genuine demand, guys. or added demand, I should say. I think morally, I never get involved with injectors until they fix bounty hunting. I don't know about bounty hunting, man. I don't know. All right, good call on Proteus. Just added. It looks like genuine added demand for the product. All right, good to go. And finally, all the exhumers. Actually, it's kind of neat that we called exhumers because one of the things we're calling this week pairs up with that. And it's kind of weird that they didn't move in tandem. Or maybe they did, I just didn't catch it. Actually, I'm pretty sure they did, I just didn't catch it. Alright, it's settling down. It's settling down. But it looks like it's picking back up. It settled down, but it's starting to get up there. The outliers are ending up. Mackinac is flattening out. Is this moving sideways? Really? That high up? To establish a trade channel from that high up, that's pretty amazing. Wow. White Proteus, Cap says White Proteus. You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure why there's a sudden added demand for Proteus. Unless people are thinking that's going to be a good ship for the content that's coming out with the Resource Wars, maybe. I don't know, but the Resource Wars should be doable just on straight up exhumers, which is why that was added. Which is why there were, I imagine, why there was a added demand for these things. I would imagine Skiff out of all of them. Skiff's actually quite. The Skiff was actually the less volatile looking out of all of them. It is what it is. I mean, all right. So we did. I think we called it correctly, and it's still actually up there. Yeah, pretty good BPO buy on the Mac. Finally, I got one right. Dude, like, I really want to get back to production myself, but I don't know. Now that I'm in NUS, like, I really want to engage that that aspect of the game. All right, so those are all our calls from last week. Actually, speaking of Albion, I'll link this to you guys. Ooh, procs. See, the Tech 1 variant's going to be pretty flat because a lot of times they're actually just straight up used as input. I think. See how flat they are, man. It's disgusting. It's not enough juice, man. Not enough juice in these. Except for Retriever. I mean, Retriever is just, it's a high volume item. All right, Cav, that's for you, man. So I've been doing these Albion online like shows, and instead of making this show more like Albion by doing like more of the production aspects, I actually started doing my Albion show a lot like this one. So more of the actual trading aspect in Albion. It felt more natural. It really did. Like it was better flow for me when presenting it because I'm used to that kind of pace. Yeah, but time and maths have that straight line rise about 3% is good. Yeah, I think 3% is pretty reasonable. It's very, very reasonable. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to actually, continuing to do that type of trading format for Albion, and maybe other games too. I'm not sure of any other MMO that can even compare. I think for as far as market stuff, even Albion probably top 2 for sure. You're already subscribed. I am too, man. I think my biggest win on my biggest gains, I think it was like a 20+% gain on I think it was one of the fibers with enchantments. I can't remember. I think it was one of the 4.2 fibers. I sound like a freaking stalker. That Twitch stalking, man, or YouTube stalking. That's what's up. All right, so just want to talk about my experience this weekend. It's actually my first weekend with my new nullsec corp in Alliance. So I'm with Valkyrie Knights, that's the corp, and I'm actually in UI Federation. 9%, damn. So if you're not familiar with Providence, UI Federation, they occupy the KBP pipe, so that's around Detal area. I think it's one of 3 or 4 entrances, and we're really close to Empire, and we get a lot of visitors. But I'll be honest, when I rat in Gila. I just don't even care anymore. That cost checker, yeah, I don't do that shit. You come attack me, I'll just attack you back, man. I don't care. I'm just too lazy. Sorry. But yeah, it's really cool, man. So I participated in 2 coalition fleets this weekend. Very first one, honestly, ever that meant something. I've been in coalition fleets before, like when I was in CO2, but it was like bullshit fleets. Like, the fuck are we doing? Killing fucking Pocos? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? It's 2 in the morning. We're killing Pocos? What? So I was definitely happy that when we did our coalition fleet, it meant something. There was value in it. We were fighting and people were dying, but at the same time people were killing things. Considering the size of the fleets and U.S. time zone, it's kind of tough to get good numbers in U.S. time zone. Any game. But it was cool, man. Really good FC. Now Rory was our FC. Good dude, man. Good dude. I'm definitely, if he starts up a fleet again, which I'm pretty sure he will, like I'm totally in, man. I got my shit staged, everything. I was like, guess they're the crowd that want to kill my right Taru. What? Really? Where? Oh, Vorna F says I have not played Eve in a while. Anything new? Dude, Vorna, we just did so Eve Vegas just finished. There was a lot of news, man. Like this winter, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good for alphas. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the alphas. Basically, that's the free to play version of Eve. They're just increasing its scope. It's gonna be a lot more playable and a lot more fulfilling to be an alpha. Ultimately, that's what it is. I think for the it's not. I don't think there's mixed reviews on it. I think I'm in the very very small camp of that's too much. But in general, if I was at the other side, at the other side of that conversation, should be folks. Hopefully they'll be willing to try the game. Trial is unlimited. Yup, trial is unlimited. Yeah, but I think the upcoming changes makes it feel less like an unlimited trial and more like a proper gameplay style, a proper way to play the game. Like actually play the game. Yeah, but Korath, once the changes kick in, they can do battleships. They can. We are gonna be in a Eve universe of alpha Macarials. Just let that sink in for a minute. Alpha Macarials. Not a fan. It's not a fan. Sorry. Not a fan. But they went all out on ship flying, but the really deep skills, I don't know. Maybe I'm calling it out too quickly without actually seeing the skill list, the no joke skill list, because It's one thing to sit in the material. It's another thing to actually be skilled in the material. If you're as bad as me, more than 5 minutes SP's not likely to make you better. No. Depending on when you left the game, man, there was a lot of skills that really got trimmed. You know, skills that got changed up to make more sense. You know. What else? The refineries are going to be available. Moon mining is going to be available in wormhole space and HiSec, but it's not for actual moon mining. It's just to the mechanic of the moon mining will be there with the refineries, but they actually won't produce moon goo, but they'll only produce ore variants. Warnock says, "What can you use Battleship in HiSec, but you can't take them out?" No, I think you can. You can. I was really glad with the announcements overall of E-Vegas. I thought this was... It felt less hyped, but they had so much more news versus last year. By a long shot. Like a real long shot. Oh, and the next coalition fleet I participated in was actually FC'd by Jintan. Cool guy. That was the first time I ever participated in a fleet with him. I was very impressed. He was very, very organized. It was nice. And just one quick kind of little scenario thing. What really made it very obvious to me that I am in nullsec now was when Rory was after the fleet. I don't know how he came to this, how he got to this kind of conversation, but he made the comment of if your alliance doesn't offer SRP, you're getting scammed. Like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? For the longest time, I just wasn't a proponent of SRP. I was like, hey man, it's fucking. You're here in this space. You're getting paid. You're getting bounties. You should be able to feel combat even if it's purely for defensive reasons, from your own money because you're making so much out of the space, But I get it from an organizational standpoint. It makes sense to do that. I'm just not accustomed to it because I've been a low sec scrub for years, man. Years, and I'm more accustomed to doing stuff on your own, not having to rely on a bigger body of people to prop you up. So. Cora says plus Plex is like Orem now. You need 500 Plex for a month Omega sub. Yep. Yeah. There is that. But yeah, but no, that was and the reason I'm kind of using that kind of story with you guys is that led me to start thinking about, I'm in nullsec now. What can I do as an experienced market guy to contribute my market skills for the coalition in Providence? Like the one corp that offer an SRP. No, I should even. I really need to look into my corp info to see how they do their SRP, but I'm sure they do. It's UI Federation. They've been there forever. So I started actually working with my corp mates, with my alliance mates, in looking at the market and kind of just reviewing it. And what I've been tending to do, guys, is actually the same stuff you're seeing here now, the stuff we're doing here in Jita. I'm gonna start actually doing this in Provi. I'm not sure if that's gonna be successful or not. Never trust this more. Just live in wormhole space, you'll never need SRP again. Dude, that's so true. When I left my previous corp, I kind of just gave away my fax machine. It's like, I can't be bothered. Here's a fax machine. It's Sorry, it's in the hangar. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting out of here. I totally get you. Totally get you. Totally get you. So, in the next few weeks, I definitely want to go over kind of a play-by-play of how I'm intending to do that. I don't think there's going to be any crazy new, breaking news type of info. It's just going to be kind of like the way we do this as a video journal of our weekly trading. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is what I'm doing, guys, and this is what the Provi market looks like right now. and I think there's value in doing that because I think Provi, out of all the nullsec regions, it's really the most newt friendly. I mean, most newts can dock there or have an alt that can dock there, to take advantage of the market. So I think it's a great sample case to do genuine market activities. Cav says, I'm watching the 6 month on the Reds. It's a steady rise. No, yeah. From most everything from 6 months up, there's a slight increase if you're looking at even just using the indicator of the 20-day average. Yeah, 20-day moving average, that is. Warner says, any big wars? Not really. It's disappointing, man. I don't know if you left before World War B. I don't know if that sounds familiar. But if it does, that was the last big war. It's more like a straight bullying, but whatever. Mag is a better solo miner unless you mine in an Orca. Yes, totally agree. Dude, like the biggest change on those mining barges is just having that ore hold. Without that ore hold, then you need a second account or another human player with you some way, somehow. Rorqual? Man, I don't know. I extracted all of my mining skills out of all my characters to make sure I never get into that shit again. It's a scam. Why am I gonna mine when there's already so many miners in the game, man? I'm gonna buy it off them. That's the easier. That is the path of least resistance, right there. It's broken. Yeah, Rorquals are broken, man. They were intentionally made broken. And CCP Rise kind of like jokingly alluded to that during E Vegas, but yeah, they made that broken. The new moon changes. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's gonna be a question of is there gonna be a total shift of mining capability to moon mining, and by moon mining we mean the extraction of like the chunk and exploding it and making moon ore, or are you if miners are focusing on that activity, does that mean traditional mining is gonna suffer, like the usual, like the more common ores are simply not gonna get mined, like ADMs might drop? I don't. For the most part, I think people, like large entities, actually have to start looking at that stuff, especially as I don't know if the moon refining ties to ADM, or the creation of the moon belts will contribute to ADM. But if it doesn't, then that means they're having to allot potentially an incredible amount of human resources to do something that's not gonna contribute to ADM. That can be a big deal for some entities if they aren't that big. But I don't think this is gonna be an NC problem. I don't think this is gonna be an Imperium problem. I don't think this is gonna be a DRF problem. Nope. They have more than enough bodies. And by bodies, I mean alts. All right, it's one other thing here. Just to wrap up our this NOSEC section here. I'm gonna be seeking out opportunities while I'm there. I'm gonna change my approach to cover concepts that take advantage of convenience as opposed to outright monetary profit. That's gonna be key. I'm gonna be looking into playing off of players' demands for convenience. That'll be much more effective in the long run. Examples of this will be trying to see if I can, even if it's just on my own or hopefully with other people, honestly, I prefer to do this with other people, develop buyback programs or help to make better the ones that already are in place. Doctrine contracts, absolutely lacking in Provi. Absolutely lacking. It was disgusting how lacking it was. I'd like to correct that. And general market seeding. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Drake meta again. With the alphas and the removal of the faction lock, I imagine there's going to be Drake trains again. There must be Drake trains again. It's so easy to get trained into, and missiles are it's you can't mess up missiles. The math is simple. It's either within range or it's not. That's right, guys. I'm going to flood the market with my Gnosis. You should. Oh, are you, dude? I don't play Gnosis, man. I don't play Gnosis. Good luck though on that one. Good luck. It's such a good ship. Gila. Oh, I didn't even think about Gila fleets. Ooh, and that ship is so powerful with those bonuses. I mean, I use a Gila for ratting, and I can push out like 500 DPS easily. It's not cap stable, but it doesn't have to be. Does have a full package for starter, minor corps, all ships, all mods, because I'm not famous. You can be, Cap. You can be. All right. As far as the investment end, I'm not sure what kind of wallet size my alliance is willing to devote to improving their industry wing, but I kind of let the word out in our investment Discord, like, hey, there may be an opportunity for me to start doing market stuff, and I just want to put the word out that I may ask for funding. But a lot of people have already like rogered up and are interested if I do go that route, so I'm pretty covered that way. So really, really appreciate it, guys. Buffer Gila with a Bazzi or a Similogy wing. I won't even undock. Oh, nasty. Nasty. All right, so we're going to be going over our calls for the week. I'm going to start for our buys of the week here. I'm going to start with Tech 1 battleships. A lot of the Tech 1 battleships actually, from a chart perspective, looking really good. And not so much Abaddon. Not so much Apocalypse, but Geddon. The Geddon basically making a reversal off of that crest. I'm not sure how far this would go or if it's just going to go sideways, but definitely something worth observing. Guys, I'll invest for 300% return. I was able to pay out 100% return on 4 months. I doubled everyone's money after the 4th month. I don't know how I did that, man. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. Alright, Geddon's looking good for... I would observe this for now. I'm not sure if this is just going to go sideways. I can't imagine it's going to go sideways, though. I don't think so. This was like a year ago, though, Cap. Like, for real. Like, I wasn't even doing videos yet. I was just doing articles on Neocon. Yeah, I doubled everyone's money by month 4. A lot of work, man. I was legit just one ISK wars. It was a marathon of a war. Those one ISK wars, boy. Raven is undervalued right now. Like greatly undervalued. It's hitting. It's right around the 90-day floor right here. Might be worth looking into. Rogue, same thing. Trading app, trading channel. Let's see. The Raven. I feel better with the Raven. It's a higher volume. It's in the 50s. This one's not even cracking 40. Scorpion is nice. However, the volume's really bad. Like 20 a day. Ugh. Not making get-ins. Yeah, but dude, no. I'm not making get-ins. More Battleship used to be so popular, man. I don't know what happened to him. I'm not sure what happened. Dominic's, it looks like it's gonna go lower. I don't think it's finished going down. I'd wait out the Dominics. Hyperion might have found the floor, even though it does look very outlier-ish. I think it's worth pulling the trigger on this right now, to be honest. If you can get it close to 180, I think you'll be in good shape. Megatron's really sharp. A really sharp decline. I'm not really sure what's causing that. It might just be people capturing it from buys more than sells. If it is, then it already corrected itself. It already topped out because there's hardly any margin anymore. This might be might be a trap. For lack of a better word, it might be a trap. Yeah, so the Galantis space is turning dummies out like forever. No, really? I haven't used dummies in a while. I mean, I don't even know if they're even that good, even for, say, I don't know, like level 4 mission running. I don't know. They used to be really good, you know. I think they're good null ratters more than anything, but then there's cheaper variants like BNIs, things like that. Alright, so that's the picture for Tech 1 battleships for buys. Next one's going to be rattlesnakes. Love-hate relationship with rattlesnakes, man. I think it's gonna continue to go lower. I wouldn't act on this yet. I'd wait at least one more day. So today's Tuesday. I'd wait till Wednesday, Thursday, for you to see if. I think that gives you enough time to see a better picture and whether you want to act on it or not. So let's say you act on it and you capture it at 420, 425. Can 450 actually give you? Let's just do the math. Let's say you captured 425, and you cash out at 450. That's slim. That's like 2%. Considering the rattlesnake, though, considering the volume, that might be worthwhile if you are willing to invest like a lot in it. Might be worthwhile for you. And finally, for buys, prospect. This kind of came out of nowhere, but I just happen to be looking at certain things, which I will explain here in a little bit. So the prospect is moving sideways. It's moving sideways after a price correction. I think it's worthwhile to buy into this. Especially for the potential for use once the refineries come on. Yep. Right, for the prospect, there's been continued upward price trends on crystalline carbides. All right, so let's go over that real quick. All right, so prospect, industry window. This is the things needed to make a prospect. Ion thruster needs crystalline carbide. Crystalline carbide. Seeing the picture, right? Crystalline carbide. So basically, exhumers, mining ships in general, Tech 2 variants of them, requires a lot of crystalline carbide. Okay. So let's take a look at the price action on crystalline carbide. I have that unfair knowledge. I call it insider trading. So crystalline carbide is a crucial high volume component required to make Tech 2 mining anything. All right. It's continuing to go up there, so it eventually will just simply have to make the cost to making things like the Prospect is basically going to go up there. Now, this price correction that's happening with the Prospect right now, so we've established that. So let's go back to the Prospect. It did a price correction at this level, even though the crystalline carbides are still going up. And it doesn't seem like it's flattening out quite yet. It looks very outlier-ish still. I imagine this is going to go back up. It's like it's finding this trading channel right now, but just because of the potential for the cost to continue to go up based on the price of the crystalline carbides, I imagine that the Prospect, by virtue of production cost, must go up. But if it goes up to a point where the demand starts to wane, it's hard to tell, man. So all I can really say is it's going to cost more to make these things. If it costs more to make them, it should cost more to buy them. Mr. Albus92 asks, what do you think will happen with the price of moon resources after update? I think it's going to appear as if there's a shortage, but I assure you, there will be no shortage. There is so much stockpiled in personal hangars over the years, for as long as moon materials have been available in the game, I guarantee you that there will be no actual shortage. It's just a tighter control on how much escapes into the market. So if you're not one of those really cool people that has a large stockpile and you're a production guy, try to get a hold of some on the back end some way, somehow. Because you're probably not going to see a whole lot of that enter the general market. Probably not. Probably not. You may have to tap into your Nosec resources, to be honest. Ogre140 says, I would imagine see more escape to the market. I hope so. But I imagine they're going to be very, very conservative. For those who can control that faucet, that very manual faucet, will probably do it like slow drip, man, just to squeeze every bit out of everybody else. I would think. Because why give it to the rest of the game when you can use it yourself? You know what I mean? The better play, I would imagine, would actually be to produce the goods yourself, if you have assuming you have the ability and material logistics to support it. That would be the better call. But if you just want to make money with the least amount of effort, slow drip it out. That's what I would do. Mr. Alva says, do you suggest to sell them after update or now? If you have them, dude, don't mess with them now. Wait till update. I'm not sure how much volume you have, but wait till update. If you have a high enough volume to actually have, let me take that back, because you're gonna need an incredible amount of volume on anything moon materials to even put a dent. But yeah, I mean, there's just lots of stockpiles everywhere, man. I can't imagine that. I just don't. I find it hard to believe that there will be genuine shortages. Ogre says, yeah, I'm just thinking line members and ninja miners not having any real use for them. Yeah, probably. Alright, so that's our buys for the week, guys. Now I'm going to go over our sells of the week. I'm going to start with the Nightmare. It's really odd to actually see the Nightmare again. We've called the Nightmare several times in the past 2 months, I think. Definitely a sell. Definitely a sell. More action on sell side. Disregard this. Disregard this. Disregard this. That's meaning that someone's playing that. This will clear up in the next 5 hours for sure. So let's do a quick. Let's call it 392. 392 buy 438 sell. That's huge. 11% before taxes. That's huge, man. Huge. All right. Hopefully someone can take advantage of that. Chaos says Ninja with the new Logi might be a bit problematic. Oh, the new log. Ooh, you're right. People gonna know. Well, if it's after the fact, what are they gonna know about it? You know what I mean? Unless you're like a blue, I guess they'll be banned. So Nightmare, seeing a lot of demand. It seems like genuine demand. It created a big enough gap for the buy and sell, and you can totally see it. Next one's Guardian. So kind of like along the same line. So the Guardian Sacrilege, they're up because we'll look at the price first of those items, and we'll look into why, or at least my hypothesis. Guardians up. Straight demand. Straight demand. This is definitely a combat demand, but I think it's also coupled by a material cost change. And it's right. It's all on sell. There's not a whole lot of differences on volume, but it's like really picked up out there. That's not really. It's not much margin. Super tight. Actually, no, 10%. I take that back. 10%. That's not bad. All right, so Guardian's up. Okay, if you have it and you don't intend to use it, sell it. Consider selling it. Oh, I've recently been trying my hand in the market seeding. It's slow. Yeah, it is. It is. Even if you're starting off, Jita's the perfect place to start. Honestly, I think places outside of Jita are actually more challenging because you have to pick your spots much more carefully. Broke a market once. Nice. I thought I did, but it was just a price correction. A normal price correction. Alright, next item is the Sacrilege. Not nearly as aggressive as the Guardian. Had a little bit of a lull, so it wasn't straight up like that. It's a lot tighter, so it's not very outlier-ish like the Guardian, which is like almost manically aggressive, but very similar. Okay, so why is this? Why is this? It's the stuff that they're made of. It's the tungsten carbide. Okay, a lot of the components needed to make these ships require tungsten carbide. That's what tungsten carbide looks like right now. It literally established a trade channel on the top end. Expect Amar anything. Not just Amar anything, but our last item we're calling out, the mining laser upgrades Tech 2. So keep this in mind. This is the look of tungsten carbide. Top end going sideways. What? Last item we're gonna look at, guys. Mining laser upgrades Tech 2. Tungsten carbides. Now, what does it look like? Super outlier. Super outlier. at big volume too. Look at that. 11,000 units. When typically it would be sitting 3 to 5,000 units. Is there enough? Is this movement dead though? It might be a bit late, but if you can babysit orders, you might still catch it. Now, this already runs on the assumption that you already have created the mining laser upgrades, or you have a batch that's about to come out. If you're don't use this information to go, oh, I must build mining laser upgrade 2s. No. The movement will surely be dead by that point. I assure you, it will be. May not be totally dead, but way less powerful than what you're seeing now. But if you want to take that risk, of course, you're more than welcome to. Big margins, man. 785 to 929K. That's huge. It's a huge margin. And that margin is based on people are buying this up. People are buying this up on this end, straight up buying them. Because in preparation for, I would imagine, one of the reasons, so apart from material cost increasing, I think people are stocking up for Resource Wars, which is coming in October. Ogre says, do you have any advice of a good way to limit my trade to a station, only 30 minutes playtime a day? Yeah, trade what I trade. Yeah. This is what I trade, bro. Personally, this is what I trade. These are really slow items. I did cash out quite a bit in order to establish myself in null a little better. All right, I need cash. But faction, by faction I mean Navy faction, like LP based items. That's usually what I do trade. And plexes and skill injectors, those things you can kind of watch. It's okay to watch them a little slower. It's okay to actually expect or to play off slower movements off of those items, which is totally acceptable, and it's probably the safer bet as opposed to day trading them. Sitting around 2 bill, man, with 2 bill, I would do. What would I do with 2 bill? I would focus probably on faction drones for 2 bill. I would probably focus on small injectors. Maybe if you're feeling a little courageous, small injectors. You could totally do Plex with 2 bill, actually. You could totally do Plex with 2 bill. Would I do it now? I'd still buy it at 3.1, but that goes into a strategy of holding on to it until like deep winter. Like deep into winter. Like definitely into like almost like where refineries start evening out and have already become normal, you know? No, not injectors. For 2 bill though, it's not like you're not even cracking the market. Small injectors though, Cap. Small injectors. You just gotta pick your. I think there's been small injectors have been in the market long enough where people know that they exist and actually are finding value in using them. Yeah, so for slower stuff, that's definitely what I would recommend, man. Faction items and player services type items for sure. All right, I think that's all of it. Yeah. All right, well, that's all I have. That's Hedge Fund Pirate. Well, if things go well in nullsec, I may actually restart that. But I would prefer it actually be more of like an advisor. I actually kind of don't want to do it. I'd rather focus on doing teachings like this with you guys and, you know, being more of a source of information as opposed to like making money. Like I don't really need that money. I really don't. I don't need the money. Yeah, no problem, Ogre. No problem. Yeah, that's definitely what I do, man. For slower stuff, that's what I've been doing. Yeah, that's really all I got, guys. So my main focus now is actually figuring out how I can present to you guys the market conditions in nullsec, or at least a small picture of it. I think there's value in that, especially for someone who wants to transition from doing more traditional like JITA type trading to running and haggling in nullsec, it's incredibly social. There's a definite social dynamic to the market in nullsec, which I think a lot of people miss out on, which is so unfortunate because I think it's really fun. Lucky says, do you think Rattlesnake Victor Edition will go up or down short term? I'll be honest with you, man. It's basically a shot. It's a shit show because it's so low volume. I mean, it's like just take a look at it. Right? It's so low volume though, man. A purchase of like 2 a day will like make the prices go wonky. Good lord. Yeah, man, it's not even a full page. There are days where nothing gets there's nothing, bro. Nothing. You play, dude. This is straight gambling. Nice war the stock at the moment, yeah. Yeah, man, dude. This is a 90-day picture too, man, dude. There's literally weeks where nothing happens on them. Weeks. It's not an item for me. Nope, not an item for me. No thanks. All right. Unless there's any other questions, I think we'll call it there. Went through a lot of stuff today, guys. Hopefully, so what do I intend to do when I'm talking about nullsec markets? I already actually started doing market studies from last night, and I already discovered like very quickly a lot of stuff. It's like being referring to skins. Ooh. Pills like, what would be best to start with as a new trader? Oof. Modules, meta modules. They're easy to learn. They're super easy to learn, and they're very consistent. Meta modules for sure. Hey, anytime, Cap. Thanks. That's definitely what I would do, man. Pilsen. That's what I would focus on. Meta modules. Think of the very high volume, the very high action as kind of a safety net. It prevents, high volume will typically prevent outlier action from actually making substantial changes to the price. So it tends to do. How's everything I make? Yes. Because I've installed it in my faction pause mod VPC in anticipation what they'll convert into. Well, I don't know what they'll convert into. I don't know if they're just gonna disappear and be like a collector item or what. All right, that's it, guys. That's all I got. Thanks for showing up again. Really, really appreciate it. And of course, as per usual, this will be in YouTube by tonight. And we'll see. Hopefully, folks will have learned something today. Salvage orders. Oh, that's baller. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.